When taken into consideration as it relates to the budget, as well as this being the first time I'm handling it or being involved from jump.
MP Tamara, just one moment. What we have right now are clarifications to the first round of answers. So if you're going into new or specific questions, we will have to leave these for another round. So right now, it's clarifications to what the minister brought forward.
Another round in this very meeting, because I asked questions prior in writing. I asked that I get them back before. I didn't get those. So because I have answers for those, I still have other answers relating to that as well. So it's almost as if it doesn't matter whether I send them before or not. What will I get to ask these questions in this meeting today?
Let me explain something with respect to questions asked. Using the right to ask questions, which is at any point in time the right of a member of parliament, then it is assumed that those will be answered in writing unless the submitter of the questions asks specifically that they be done verbally. Having stated that, I now turn to the minister, because you also had the request, and that's only a request that you receive these answers beforehand. What I will do, I will consider that the need for clarification and ask the minister to respond to answering the questions posed by the member of parliament regarding the budget before the budget in writing. That would normally be answered in writing as well. However, at this point in time, those answers have not been provided in writing. And let me add yet, because I am not sure what you're seeking right now. So, Minister, could you respond to the point regarding the questions received beforehand in writing by MP Tamara Leonard?
Yes, Madam Chairlady, I certainly would like to do that. From memory, I've got to apologize because I got your questions late Friday night, and I was somewhat at a disadvantage because Saturday and Sunday, the ministry is closed and access to information and documents were not possible. And what I decided is that I would respond to your questions in writing, but two of the questions come to mind, and that had to do with the subsidy to Carnival and the subsidy to Heineken Regatta.
Madam Chair, those two questions were in a letter sent on the 5th. The first set of questions were in a letter sent on the 3rd, and that was the breakdown of the capital gains. That also included a list of all the consultants, be it individual or companies that is working for government in its entirety. A breakdown of how much of them, their salaries, the consultant fees.
Tamara, just one moment. I think the minister found your letter. Do you have the letter that the MP is?
You have the letter?
There was a letter sent on Thursday last by the member of parliament.
No, I'm certain that is the
Okay.
case. I was only referring to when I received it. I noticed that there was a stamp when I got it that you received it on the 4th, I believe.
That's right.
The 4th of February. And then you had to take the steps to send it to me.
Yes.
But I only got it on Friday night, and I could not address it adequately during the weekend. But again, the two that comes to mind now, is this the complete letter? Yeah. Was the Heineken Regatta and the Carnival development. And of course, the breakdown, the capital gains and so forth, you will get that in the course of for the entire, all parliamentarians, because then no parliamentarian has that yet, but that is coming. It's going to be part of this budget. Relative to the comment on Heineken's Regatta and Carnival, I think I addressed that just now where I said to you, we have like 30 of these institutions that we give subsidies to. There is not enough money to go around, so you need to make decisions. Now, it's not so that Carnival nor Heineken's Regatta got nothing in the budget. They just got a reduced amount compared to what was scheduled in the previous budget.
Madam Chair, I would like to state the question because I did not ask if they get in or didn't get in. What I asked was if I can have a copy of the submitted financials as required by the subsidy ordinance from both the Heineken Regatta and the Carnival Development Foundation and other entities as presented in the budget. The question was, yes, I saw the cuts, so I would, before going into why the cuts and the like, because yes, these are in the tourism field where I feel like no cuts should have been made, absolutely, but I'll get into that later. I wanted to know if it had anything to do with the fact that their financials are supposed to be turned in, there are financials that should be turned in from the recipients of subsidized foundation, and I wanted copies of those. I wanted to know if they were up to date, if there were specific reasons why maybe they didn't get last year, this year, that's what I requested.
Yeah, thank you. With your permission, Madam Shirley, I would like to respond to the specific question that the MP is asking about, and she's right, it's the financial statements she was wondering about from these institutions. If you give me the opportunity, I will be gladly respond to these and provide you those documentations in writing.
Thank you, Minister. Clarifications? Any further clarifications, MP Leona Marlin?
I wasn't done, though.
You're not finished with your clarification questions. MP Tamara Leonard.
Okay. Based on the answers that you answered from the other MPs earlier, I wanted to know the monies that is being requested of GB, that they not just hold them there in reserves. What exactly do we have planned to do with these funds, and will any of it go towards whether subsidies or any other social needs within the country?
Very perceptive, MP. That's the intention and that's the plan. As we mentioned, it's a lean and mean budget. And we don't have in the budget projected any income that is not real income. And we can only spend it once we receive it. So the idea is to receive it, and then we could proceed through a budget change and have all of these additional corrections made.
So how did we come up with the amount that we would want to take from them? Where did the 20, you said it was 20 million that is asked from the private company? While that sounds a little, I think a company of that magnitude should keep a good reserve in the event of a catastrophe. What should happen? But how did we come about the 20 million that we want to take from this private company without having an idea of where we're going to put it already?
Okay, it's not a private company, it's a government-owned company.
Thanks, I stand corrected.
Yeah, and the idea is that government should get a return on its investment that it has there, that they're managing. This money has been sitting there for years. And every year profit is earned through the water distribution system that they have. And the time has come for them to submit their investment plan, which they fail to do annually, so that government could make a proper decision as to what amount should come to government and what amount they should remain with. Right now, that 35 million, and like I mentioned, there's even documentation that it's 39 million. We said, let's call it 32 million. Pay us out 20 million, keep 11 million in reserve. If it's 39 million, you would have 18 million in reserve, and we consider that to be quite adequate for the purposes they have.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Here we go. This is freedom, this is life. Happiness is all I'm seeking. Carpe diem, I'm seizing every day, not just the weekend. Here's to all the good times that have come to last. Here's to living in the now.
When you can afford what you crave, life just gets so good. KFC, so good for everyone.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas really easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation, that's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
Life is a journey, full of connections. You're in safe hands, even when life starts too soon. You don't have to miss a single beat. When a bad hair day makes you sad, just sharing can bring you joy and more to come. They take the plunge, turn fear into faith, while you capture those beautiful moments. In the game of life, it's family that counts. They'll be there even when you lose. We all have our moments of reflection and hope. And when you feel you're losing everything in life, we're there because there's more to come. When life starts too soon, you don't have to miss a single beat. We're here to connect you and share life. Telcel, when you want.
Hey, Bob, you're on family vacation. Oh, but your daughter's got the measles. But don't worry about it. With your Be Sure travel insurance, children under 12 are covered for free.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah, for free. Oh my, what an inventory list, and so unnecessary. But wait, your home contents are all insured by Be Sure. That means that you determine the amount you want to insure. No inventory list, no hassle.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
As Minister of VSA, Minister of Health, I wanted to just touch on one particular subject that we've been working on, and that is strengthening the cooperation with health from St. Martin, Dutch side, and with health on the French side. You know, we're a small island, and in particular framed against the discussion about the building of a new hospital. I feel that it's critical that we determine what the level of structured cooperation between the French side and the Dutch side will be going forward. In other words, are we going to operate as two separate hospitals, independent of each other, or are we going to say, you know, look, we're a small island, let's synchronize our development plans? So that is very much the direction that I, as minister, believe that we should be going. That if we're looking at developing a service on the Dutch side, why would we have the French side build the exact same service and compete for clients? Instead, I believe that it makes more sense to look at developing complementary services. So in other words, if the Dutch side is expanding and developing one service, that the French side take that into account and not invest in developing a competing service, but rather invest in a complementary service that's not offered on the Dutch side. So if we can synchronize our healthcare development plans, I believe that this has tremendous economic value for both sides of the island. And if you look at it, what it does is it accomplishes a number of things. If you want to bring in a specialist, for example, to the island, if by cooperating, that specialist now can serve both sides of the island, their practice becomes much more financially viable, rather than just bring in two specialists, each one servicing their side of the island. So this involves a number of points for discussion, including, besides a coordinated development plan, this also means that we need to think about how do we synchronize standards. So as we look at the development of the hospital, we are looking at developing it with European standards. So we need to make sure that from a standards in terms of the facility that there's synchronization, but there also needs to be a synchronization in terms of staffing. Language is obviously an issue. We understand that some of the doctors on the French side or some of the staff on the French side are already engaging in language training classes. But these are things that require a period of time to develop. And I think that as we look at the development of the hospital, if it's an independent hospital, not taking into consideration the French side, it would be a different development plan compared to if there's a synchronized coordination. So we had very positive meetings last week, and those meetings will continue, and that's with the Observatoire Saint-Martin. We've met with Dr. Louis Jeffrey and Mr. Arnaud Bennett, and we will continue discussions today, and that circle is now expanding, including the SMMC, including the Public Health Department, really geared towards, as we finalize or as we work towards the development of the terms of reference for the new hospital, that we have a structure in terms of what the cooperation between the Dutch side and the French side will be.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
One,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness.
Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2,
3,
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
the Council of Ministers decided on the to balance the budget, and afterwards the ministries got a time to fill in their priorities. Between the ministries and the Ministry of Finance, there has been some discussions, and to finally arrive to the amounts that will then be taken up in the budget. Based on the discussions and the results as mentioned in the draft budget, the priority list of the different ministries will be amended and adjusted and sent to the ministers. The matter of the ministry plans, the ministries have prepared their ministry plans. I think most of the ministries have done so. And in terms of what has happened last year, the question as to if any goals were accomplished, the ministries provide their, how you call it, at the end of the year, they submit a plan of what they have accomplished. Not all the ministries have done so as yet, and once we have them all, they will be sent. But for what we have received so far, they will be sent, of course, to the members of Parliament. The Member of Parliament also wanted to be provided with a list of potential risk associated with this budget due to lack of funds. Madam Chair, I think it is important to point out, again, I think the Minister of Finance did so yesterday. There is, in essence, one can say, I wouldn't say in essence a disconnect, but there is not yet a connection between the budget and the policies or the priorities of the ministers. The Minister of Finance has clearly outlined how the budget came into being. The government that is in office today was sworn in on the 19th of November, met on instruction of the Kingdom Council of Ministers that a budget had to be balanced by the 15th of December. We have to also take into account that there, up till now, has not been a budget that was approved by the CFT. Parliament voted for a budget in 2015, but that budget was never approved by the CFT. When instructed to make amendments to the budget, the amendments that were put forward were also not approved. So that makes it kind of difficult for one to say what the actual budget was for 2015. What we would have when it's all compiled and completed, you would just have an overview of receipts. These amount of monies were received spread out over these different incomes, and this is how the money was spent by the different ministries. Now, the budget 2016, one would expect that if a government presents a budget, government presents next to that budget, these are my priorities, this is my plan, these are my goals, these are my objectives. What the government met in 2016, 2015, when the government took office, was not necessarily in line with the action program that the present government is putting in place. Yes, there was a governing program of red, white, and blue that was drafted in 2014 and endorsed by the government in 2015 when they took office, but that was a 4-year plan, of which this governing cycle had in essence only 3 left. But with the decision to dissolve Parliament, and today coincidentally would have been election day if the government did not change the national order, the national decree, to amend the date of elections. So elections have been moved to September 2016, and the government is presently making the necessary adjustments to ensure that the budget fits in with the priority list, with the action program of the government. So at a given moment, the Minister of Finance had a humongous task upon him to balance the budget in accordance with income and projected expenditures. What we did have is within some of the ministries, the organization said, we would like to see this, that, or the other. So the organization can say, we would want to spend the money this way, we would want to hire 3 more people, we would want to buy a vehicle, we want to do this training, we would want to do this upgrading, we would want to replace 5 air conditioners, we want to replace the carpet. All of that then makes up the budget for that ministry, what they would want to do. In the past, it was customary for ministries to submit their wish list, their Wensen list, and then you get 7 wish list, add to it the wish list of Parliament, add to it the list from the High Councils of State, and then you get an amount, say 500 million. 500 million, and then government will try to see how can we project income to meet that 500 million. That is where the contention with CFT always came in the past, because CFT said at a given moment, and on different years and on different occasions, your projections are not realistic because you're projecting extra income here, but we are not convinced you will get that extra income.